you to our brand new outdoor set.
Inhale. I literally just inhaled a fly. It's the most hilarious thing that has ever happened to me on live Amazon television. Do it the right way.
She is fresh off the season finale of Shark Tank.
Here we go, here we go.
I made you guys the Sway TV sign.
I am a fan of gratitude.
Mark says, I thought I changed your life. Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
We made history here on Amazon Live. Would you ask her out again?
I just got like goosebumps.
So thank you for inspiring us here at Sway TV, Clay.
The information you have to share is divine.
Would you ever want to be a shark on Shark Tank?
Yes, because I think there's a lot to be said for people helping other people.
It's making me really nervous that this is really intense. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. We're having a little fire here.
So we made you a vibrato mug here.
I'm gonna cry.
How did you do this?
Ta-da!
Ready? We would not want that.
So many giveaways here at Sway TV.
Money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
I'm ready to battle shop live. Yeah!
This is fun.
And one person's gonna win a PS5. Which one will it be?
I have our winner.
I'm so excited, I can't even stand it.
I cannot make this up.
We are awarding you with the PS5 as well.
8, 7,
6, 5,
4, 3,
2, 1.
Talk to all your friends and your family. Let them know about Sway TV.
Thank you so much. Shop attainment all the time.
'Tis the season of the comfy.
We in the house. We having fun. We doing the thing. We swaying.
Sway TV #1, baby.
Thank you guys for watching. It was awesome.
kaboom.
So go to swaytvlive.com and we will see you soon.
Let's sway.
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 Let's play.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's go. Let's sway. Stay tuned. Woo!
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sway TV. I'm Candace Quito, your host, and I am coming to you live. That's right, I'm coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, where it's Monday morning. It's about 6:16, and you know, we have an amazing guest today. She's so terrific, and you know, I just want to bring her right in today because she's here with us. So you guys, I would like to welcome Anna De La Rosa. Anna, how are you?
So good to see you.
Likewise, good morning, and thank you for joining us here today at Sway TV. So tell us, where are you beaming in from today?
Houston, Texas.
Oh, you're a fellow Texas girl, just like me. Oh.
Texas, right?
Everything is bigger and better in Texas. That's right. You guys, because Anna is live right now, I want you to engage her in the chat. Ask her questions, comments, suggestions. We love suggestions. She's here for you today. So Anna, tell us, what do you specialize in?
Well, I'm a life coach and empowerment coach.
So you work on like empowerment for women.
Yes, and I also have a page that does both men and women, but I'm just a jack of all trades.
So what is, let's just go back to the beginning. How did you get interested in empowerment?
Well, you know, over the years, I had been going through a separation after being married for 20-something years.
Oh, wow.
And it just finalized last year. And I noticed that I can do it. And I've been building my brands and closing out my insurance firm that I'd built from the ground up 10 years ago. And I'm closing those doors and now focusing on not just empowerment, but helping them set the stage for them to do it too, because a lot of people think it's too late for them. So all my different platforms, I incorporate the empowerment, encouragement, inspiration, but also meditation and mindfulness and all of the tools that helped me over the years. Does that make sense?
Wow. Well, let's get down to the nitty gritty because I know a lot of people out there will probably be interested in similar situations. So going back, you were married for 27 years. How many?
22.
Oh, excuse me, 22 years. And you have children?
One.
You have one child, a son or a daughter?
Hannah, a daughter.
Oh, a daughter. Now, after being married for that long, I can assume that you were in a certain way of life and a lifestyle and everything, and then you decided to switch. What made you decide to make such a huge, left turn in life all of a sudden?
Well, my brother in 2011, he committed suicide.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow.
And that is where I started my empowerment and encouragement with me and my self-discovery journey. And that's when I started my insurance firm. But I had always been a people pleaser. So I never thought about me. But then over the years, after building and, growing, I realized that now I'm building a brand and an empire. I'm totally not doing self-care or taking care of myself. So then I started the meditation and the yoga and the mindfulness. Well, I started dabbling on the online space and doing summits. And so I started interviewing ladies. But then I realized I don't just want one genre. So I rolled out my blog on 1/1 of 2017, as well as a meditation and mindfulness project. And I had just gotten separated that summer. And so that's where it just all unfolded.
Wow. What is your definition so people know? What is your definition of mindfulness?
Being present and taking time for yourself to ground, to really listen. Because as entrepreneurs or creators, we don't do that. We don't. We are so wanting momentum, building.
True.
Make, in that masculine push that we're always trying to get, if you're a woman or a man, you're always in that grind. But taking the time to go for a walk, take time for yourself, and that's really the mine, because I didn't do that. But when I had started dabbling in it, I really, over the years now, have gotten it, and it changed my life.
Wow. It's so interesting. You said so many good points right there. I want to touch on them all. Tell me and tell us, what is your definition between, like you said, that masculine energy, the masculine drive versus, I don't know, would you call it a feminine energy that is more intuitive? Can you explain that to everybody?
Yeah. For the longest time, I didn't even have a clue what that was. And I realized that the feminine energy is you receiving, having flow, having a balance between feminine and masculine, because we all have it within us. So the masculine is the push, the grind, the production, so when you don't have it balanced and you're in one area, you don't feel aligned, if that makes sense.
It does, because I feel like a lot of times with the masculine energy, and you guys that are in the chat, please engage us. Say good morning, ask us a question. Anna is here for you. I feel like the masculine energy has a lot to do with accomplishment and achievement and reaching goals. And that's what it is. And then I feel like the feminine energy, like you said, is more the home and the hearth and the revitalization and energizing. And so you were saying that you felt out of alignment. And so much of the time, I feel like, and you guys engage us in the chat on this, I always think the world is going to fall apart if I don't keep going. How did you overcome that feeling, that need to keep that inertia going?
It's funny because I felt like I was not good enough, or I wasn't doing what I needed to do, even though I was producing so much. But once I wanted to take time for me and I wasn't stopping, it was just like I felt like I was doing something wrong because I grew up the go, the push, accomplishing. If you stop or aren't doing this, this, and this every day, then you aren't getting stuff done, you know? And I literally had to start meditating and reprogramming my mindset.
Wow.
And it took years. I mean, last year, or I just turned 42. Last year is when my divorce finalized. But because I was still behind the scenes, building everything, trying to put it all together, it was like, I felt like I wasn't good enough or I had self-worth issues. Pull, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, like a push you pull me. It's
Yeah.
like a push you pull me. So what did you do? Describe to everybody what is your type of meditation. I should say meditation is good medication. What do you do to meditate? Because honestly, I find myself in thinking of meditation, just trying to be silent for 5 minutes seems like an eternity. And is that what you mean by you said, honestly, it took you years to develop your type of meditation?
Well, actually, I dabbled in everything. That's why I started the Meditation and Mindfulness Project. So I could interview everybody in the yoga, the mindfulness, the meditation. So I could see and learn, but also have a tool for everybody for free to go and look at. Because if we don't try a little bit of everything, we don't know what we like. So
True.
I did Kundalini.
Yoga,
Love it. Yes. And then they had the mantras and the mudras. And then I would do walking meditations when you're walking, or I would do guided meditations. You know, I would do a little bit of everything. But the silent, I had to learn, because when the mind starts, you're like, oh my God. So I would just acknowledge and go back in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny. I just hear you saying all these things, and you're talking about Kundalini and yoga and meditation. And I'm from your neck of the woods, and I know that area. What made you be able to think outside of the box? Because we all, it's a very, very conservative area, and I think some of your mindset and your thinking is very progressive. So what made you be able to, as an individual, think beyond what is the norm in the area? And I say it very respectfully because I love where I'm from, and I love home, and it's always going to be home for me. But to be, what you're saying is counterculture to what is going on there now, unless I'm mistaken.
Oh no, you got it down pat. And that's why everybody thought that it was a religion, meditation.
Right.
No, I got, you're worshiping the devil.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go in and prove, because I saw something online, and because I had been dabbling in the online space, it was like 2014 or 15, and something caught my eye, and it just so happened to be Kundalini. And so once I started doing it, my energy started shifting, and all these little things had been, popping open for me. So I started that project because everybody around me thinks that it's an actual religion. They don't think that it's a modality to help you.
Well, that's what I was about to say, because I was thinking, what are your friends and your family? Because like I said, I love where I'm from, and my friends and my family there, and I grew up there and everything. But I cannot imagine what they must be thinking. Did they think, oh my goodness, Anna's going through a divorce and she's gone crazy?
You know what? That's what my ex was thinking. And I thought to myself, but see, when I started that project, right when the project came out, Mantra Magazine wanted me to be in their little interview.
Oh, awesome.
And I thought, if I'm worshiping the devil, or I'm doing something that is not what I need to be doing, why is someone going to feature me in their magazine that is absolutely amazing and how I want to live? So I had to just shut all doors and focus and not pay attention.
That's really good, because I think what you're saying too is in your journey of self-discovery that you've been talking about really listening to the self, because you were saying before that you really didn't take care of the self. Can you tell everybody the importance and how that mind of thinking for you, the shift, has changed your life? Because I think a lot of us do not, if we are carers and givers, that a lot of times empaths, I think a lot of times people that are empaths have a tendency to not give the self. So can you tell us the importance of being able to shift away from maybe what is your natural way of being?
Well, I'm an empath and I'm very intuitive, but I didn't know that before until I started listening to me. And I noticed that I would beat myself up because I knew how I was raised. And from 0 to 8 or 0 to 7, you're programmed. And you have these things in you from your family or the way you were raised or all that. I literally just had to start listening within. It was very, very hard in the beginning. But now that I've shifted over and I still work at it daily. I have to do the work. But I think that a lot of people, I can't bash anybody that thinks a certain way because that's the way they were raised or that was the way they grew up. And at their own time, they're going to, get the downloads or whatever. If they need to change, they will at that time. But I had to keep going on my journey.
Right. How do you feel? Because that you really brought up a good point, like 1 to 8. I know there's a thing called Piaget stages of development, and each stage is a certain way that you develop. And if you don't get a certain thing at a certain time, you're either lacking or you grow a certain way. It's nurture and nature. So how do you feel from 1 to 8? What do you think programmed you to be a carer and an empath? Well, sometimes I say it's your best asset is your worst detriment. So what do you think happened to you to make you who you are in a good way, but then also needing to make a shift for the self?
Well, my mom, she's just that. She's all that. She's the typical nurturer, the carer, and she's the one. But see, when you get married at 18.
Oh, and you got married at 18.
Yeah, and started dating at 15.
Wow.
You don't realize you can change. Now you're 38 and you're getting separated. So you're having to look at it from bird's eye view because he's changing, you're changing. But then sometimes people think it's because of them, but really sometimes it's just because it was supposed to happen.
Well, and the self changes, because like you said, who you are at 42 is not the person who you were at 18. Was it a mutual thing that both of you guys decided to do this because he was changing in one direction, you were changing in another direction, and you had to grow as an individual?
Exactly. Yeah. But we didn't separate until Hannah was just starting high school, and she just graduated 2 weeks ago.
Wow. So I was about to say, what type of impact do you feel like this put on your daughter versus you and your ex-husband?
Well, because he is the pusher, the grinder, he gets her going in the right path. I'm able to show her things on a different level. And she just said yesterday, I love how you are one way and Dad's the other, and it's just works.
Wow. So she goes back and forth between you, so you both get equal time.
And now she leaves to college at in August 15th. She has a softball scholarship.
Oh, that's awesome. That's terrific. Wow. And so, but you were saying, how long did the entire separation take? Because it sounds like it was longer than what I'm thinking.
Years. But in the beginning, it was harder, and we wouldn't talk for a couple of years. And, so we had to learn how to separate myself. And I mean, it was just a long, drawn out. But when I'm building brands and trying to show up daily, because as of now, I have so many people that follow me or they engage with me on all my platforms. I was still building behind the scenes, but I wouldn't show up on camera. This year is the first year that I'm actually showing up.
Oh, that's awesome. And we're so happy that you're here today too, because you're showing up and talking to us. And I mean, this is really, really amazing. Let's go back to talk about, you brought up another point that you said you were working on self-esteem and working on self-esteem issues. Everybody deals with self-esteem issues. If they say they don't, they still do. So it's just a fact. So what did you do to work on your self-esteem as an individual as you're going through this transition? Oh, Aaron says good morning to you. Aaron, thank you so much. Aaron says good morning to Anna. And Dana also said good morning to you.
Morning, Dana.
So you guys, as we know, we're talking to Anna De La Rosa, and she's talking about all sorts of, not just women's empowerment, but everybody's empowerment. And we're talking about her personal journey and how also what she's learned can apply to you, because everybody is dealing with, issues every single day. So how did you deal with self-esteem issues, and then how did you feel like you started to, because starting from 18, being married, is you're like a child, in my opinion. And dealing with understanding yourself and the individual, how did you build your self-esteem?
Positive self-talk, journaling. I mean, really, it was those, affirmations and just literally changing my mindset, my thinking. And I had to start with the positive self-talk.
And give me an example of positive self-talk, because you can always say, people say, oh, you feel great this morning, whatever. Like, what did you say to yourself each morning, starting that foot on the floor, the first step out the door?
I would start with, I am beautiful. I am going to have a good day. Something good's going to happen to me today. I mean, so I would start there, and then I would journal. I would just do like free flow journaling, whatever came out, because I realized that I was keeping all of that in all these years.
Wow.
And so it was really opening up. And then also in the morning, I meditate in the morning. And
how long do you meditate for, and what do you do in your meditation?
Well, I've been doing guided meditations with my earphones. And so I would just like either pull up something on YouTube, and they have those guided meditations that are on YouTube.
So for those of you who are out there, because I'm not even specific on, what is a guided meditation and how do you find them?
Okay, so you can go online, and it actually has some, either it's a person talking in the background on whatever subject you want to conquer. Whatever subject, or they have the binaural beats, where it goes in and they do they do the sound bowls, or
sound.
Yeah, they can do that as well. And so I noticed that if I needed help with like self-esteem, or if I needed help with energy, or like a boost in the morning, there was a certain app I used called Vama, and it was with Mind Valley, and his name was Vikesh, and I don't know his last name, but it was Mind Valley, and that's where I started. Like, I just would get on the app, and it was already there, and it would have like 20 minutes or maybe 5 minutes, whatever I had time for, and I would just listen to it.
For those out there, can you spell the Vala for us so we can find it?
It's OM. V is in Victor, ANA.
Omvana, got it.
Yeah, and let me make sure that I got it right.
Oh, okay, you do that. That is just amazing. So you guys that are out there, if you have any questions, talking about meditation. So when you're meditating in the morning, like you said, if you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, do you also use that to set your intentions for the day? Meaning, what you just said was really important to me, because sometimes I feel like I need to do this too. Of you said, I'm going to have a good day today. I'm going to be in a good mood today. Do you set your intentions also by like, for example, like you said, you're journaling. Do you also like write lists? These are the 5 things I'm going to accomplish today. These are the 2 things I'm going to do today. And maybe it's even just 1.
Yeah, because I had to start slow. And my world, it's changing all the time of the day. You know, I can have set things in my schedule, but I'm always going and blowing. And so if I'm not able to get to something, then that's fine. I'll, reschedule it or whatever. But basically I do write it down, or I do the little meditation, and the funny thing about it is there's so many meditations out there on the app or in that particular Mind Valley, like website, that you can pick from whatever you're going through, because you never know, because we change so much,
No, that's so true. Gina says hello to you. So Anna says, hi, Gina. And for those of you who are just joining in right now, we have Anna de la Rosa, and she is also a motivational speaker. She talks about not just women's empowerment for everyone, and how to basically navigate through life. This has been so interesting so far. So you guys, ask a question, engage her. She is here from Houston, Texas, coming to us live right now, and we appreciate it so much. So if you have any questions you want to ask her, she is here live. So engage us. Right now in Los Angeles, it's 6:40 in the morning, 6, 7, 8:40 your time. So then this is a good question. What happens if you have a bad day? What do you do?
I actually walk, or I do my spin bike, or I find that movement or dancing I love to sing. I'm a singer. Like, just getting the energy flowing, movement helps me realign. And I have a dog, and he's crazy. So I play with. So it's just movement, and really just stopping what I'm doing, getting involved in something else, and then going back to that if that's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
you stop that flow of energy.
Yeah.
Do something else. Gina says movement does help. Gina, do you do the same thing that Anna does if you're having maybe a day that doesn't go right? So you stop that energy and you deflect it?
Yeah, I just go do something else, or like I said, I'll go. I totally just make the shift if I'll go for a drive or whatever and go run my errands, and I love to listen to music and jam out and act crazy, and there's always something funny going on around. So I always have funny stories, like crazy stuff that happens. So laughter is one of my medicines.
Wow, that's a good way to put it. And Gina says, yes, you have to. I do the same thing, exclamation point. So both of you are moms. So when you have a difficult day with your daughter, do you do the same thing? Do you just have to do something else, and then you just come back to whatever issue you guys are dealing with?
Exactly. Like this weekend, we've been playing softball, and we've been in the heat, 101.
Oh, my goodness.
In Plano, Texas. And it was so hot. So I'm hot and she's hot, and we're trying to, get meshed and get in control, and she's trying to play a good game or whatever. And so, of course, I have to be the mom, but yet I also have to listen to really her needs. So that part we really don't have an issue with, but I have to stop, and I'll let her go, get decompressed. And actually, me and her laugh all the time. So that's really our ways of getting through stuff.
Is to be able to laugh.
Yeah, we'll catch each other when we're she was wanting to listen to the music loud, and I was tired of driving, and I said, I have the best idea. I'm going to pull over and I'm going to show you. And that meant she was going to have to drive. We're going to get this, it's just like, no, I don't want to drive. And then we start laughing and then it breaks the energy.
Well, and that's a good point too, because you just said a minute ago, you said you were always about giving and giving and giving to the point of exhaustion. And now what you're telling me is that you actually had her drive too. So it's knowing what you need in addition to being in the same energy as knowing what she needs, and you guys can laugh about things. Gina says, yes, I hop on the bike. We play a lot of baseball as well, and her son, he gets so frustrated. So I always try to get him to laugh when he's having a bad game, etc. So like you said, yes, laughter is a good medicine. Tell us about, because you consider yourself an empath, and I've done some reading on empaths. Tell us about the relationship to why empaths sometimes attract narcissists, that the two of them seem to go hand in hand, that one will attract the other, that the narcissist seeks out the empath and vice versa.
Well, because I got married so early, I didn't know what an empath was. I didn't know a narcissist was, but me now going through that, my husband had traits of that.
Of narcissism.
Yes, and
so can you tell everybody what you would think some of the traits are, just so they know?
Yeah, they have no emotion, but they look to you to feed what they're missing, but they don't even know they have a problem. And it may not be a problem to them. But when you don't know about that and you're used to giving and giving and giving, and you're always trying to make them happy, but nothing does, and you always think, well, this is going to be good, the next thing is going to be good, or you change your career. Because originally, I was in the medical field. When I first started, but if I wasn't the president or the VP of that position, then he would ask me, why are you what are you doing?
So he was never satisfied. You can never satisfy him.
Right. But I was telling Hannah this weekend. Now she's 18. Remember, I was getting married at 18.
Wow.
Her focus is totally different. And I was saying, I didn't know about red flags when I was 18. There were so many because we got together at 15. But now I've been able to teach her the difference because she's an empath, and we read people. Like right when we walk in the room, we know if people are happy, sad, but we're nice. So people think that's a weakness sometimes. If that makes sense.
Yes, and I want you to explain that. Gina says, I have that issue with my sister. Gina, in what way do you have the issue with your sister that Anna had with her ex-husband, or for many of you out there, myself included, we all know people like this. Talk about, this is really interesting, talk about red flags, because so many times I always say hindsight is 20/20, that we all learn everything in retrospect, because we've seen it, like you married him, you met him when you were 15, you married him when you were 18, and then you would see, looking back, how can people today, how would you tell people today to be able to catch those red flags? Because I need it myself. How would you be able to, how do we see them now? And if you guys in the chat have any suggestions, please let us know too. How do you catch those before they become red flags in the past?
Well, I know that, say you meet someone and you go on a date, or maybe you're a friendship or whatever, but they want to rush everything, meaning they want to hurry. They want to get you, they want to take all your time. They totally smothering you with compliments, smothering you with gifts, or trying to win you over. So you totally forget and get engaged in them. And then I noticed that once a certain part or a certain time goes by, then they start saying things to you like, you're really going to wear that? Or what are you doing? Just these little, and then you notice that and you're like, what? Like you didn't have that before. And so it's that off and on.
And what Gina has a really good thing that she wanted to say. Yes, she is a narcissist and has no emotion, like you said, to anything, and is very difficult to deal with because of that. And then what you just said, Anna, Gina said, yes, with the big S's. She does that too. It is so hurtful. So Gina, what you're saying is that she will do small things that Anna is explaining. That it's almost like, what is that word, you guys? Is it gas lamping or gas? What is it called?
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting. So explain to everybody, because I couldn't remember the gas lamp or gaslight. Explain what is that?
No, but you know what's funny is, like, I didn't know about this years ago until I got away from it and we separated. Because I wasn't in that dynamic anymore.
You must have felt, though, and then Gina says, yes, gaslighting, and then she said in big letters, same, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. So then, Gina, if you're related to her as your sister, how do you, because it's not like you're married and you can separate. So then how do you deal? Oh, she just said it. I had to break up with my sister as to speak. Oh, no. What do you mean by that? But then, Anna, you must have been feeling, because I know 15 years old, how can you know this? You can't. 18 years old, how can you know this? Then how and when in your life did you start to realize, hey, this person, and I hate to use the word toxic, but there is a certain toxicity to this situation. When did you start to have the recognition or understanding of this?
When my brother committed suicide. Because I realized, what am I doing? I'm trying to please everybody. And here he is gone at 30-something.
He was suffering from, I would assume, long-term illness, depression.
Well, what happened was he was molested when he was 6 because my parents told him not to go to a renter's house.
Oh.
The boy did, and he did. He went over there and something happened. But then in my parents' generation, you don't talk about it. So then keep it in. And then he turned to drugs. And that was the cycle, the whole life, his drug abuse. And then at 37 or 8, that's when it happened. And
not being able to ever deal with it.
And so he was looking for something to get rid of the pain, or, but my parents at the time, that's how they dealt with things. They didn't know better. So I was 7 years younger than him, So when he passed, I realized I'm not going to be silent anymore. I need to really think about my self-worth. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what journey. And I'm still doing the work today. But that was the
catalyst.
Yes, because it was a tragedy. Some people turn tragedies into triumphs. Some people don't. They go the other way.
That's true. That's true. That's true. We had a lot of stuff from the chat. So Gina says, I don't deal with her at all anymore. I can't. It was toxic. That's the word we used, and taking a toll on me. It was one of the hardest things I have ever had to deal with. And she says, that's so sad, Anna. I am so sorry. Yes, you guys. And like you said, sometimes, wait, do you want to respond to that, Anna?
You just have to you have to really take a jump and just either cut them off or set boundaries, and it is hard.
So
but if you care for yourself, you'll do it.
So you think that Gina did the right thing? Because I think Gina did the right thing too, even though, like she said, it's one of the hardest things that she has had to deal with. So then, Gina, what do you do? Does your sister still try to keep contact with you, and then you just are not able to communicate with her? And do you, Anna, think that narcissism is a mental illness?
I really think that it has something to do with that, some type of mental illness, because there's so many different, like the programming is off, or chemical imbalance or something, because they really don't have feelings. And I remember now thinking to myself, he used to say, I'm like, are do you are you always mad, or do you have any feeling? But then, and then I couldn't cry, or I had to hold it in. And I'm thinking, I'm a girl. Like, I am so express. And he said, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't feel.
Wow.
Say, I just don't know what's wrong with me. I just don't have any feeling. I don't know why.
But I wonder also if that has the element of sociopathy too, because a lot of times they don't feel and don't know. They know something is different. They know something is not right. But
and everything would be fine. And then it would just be like, you would say something and then it would not be. So, it's just, that has to do with that.
And
I know it has to happen.
All the time too, you're raising a child and trying to do all this, which is very, very much, energy focused. And then also, did he feel like he was helping, or did you feel like he was undermining, or like, was this something, it was constant uphill battle?
Yeah, well, basically, out in public, we look like the dream couple.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes, nobody knew what we went through, but we didn't, Annie. She never knew.
Wow. And we've got more in the chat. Gina says, I tried to keep the peace, but it was just impossible to keep our relationship going. And she would say the most messed up things to me, that I just couldn't do it anymore. I was being abused. I 100% believe she is a narcissistic sociopath. That I've read so much, I read a book, and you guys maybe, and I know actually I purchased it on Amazon, and it's called The Sociopath Next Door. And this is a great book that you can get, and I encourage everybody, because it talks about sociopathic behavior, and so many people that we see each and every day, I think, are missing some kind of key element. And that's why I wonder, what do you, Gina, and what do you guys in the chat think? What do you, Anna, think as far as nature versus nurture? Do you think people are perhaps born this way, or do you think they are made?
Well, I think both, but I know a lot of childhood wounds and ways of them being raised has a big part.
So you can have what they were saying, maybe sociopathic tendencies, but then it can be even increased by the way they're raised, or if they're neglected. Well, now Gina, she just said in the chat, yes, they are born this way. Do you believe this, Gina, because you were raised with your sister, and that you guys were raised since infancy? Thank you so much, Gina. She also just put in the chat for everybody, so all of you guys in the chat, and Anna, this is available on Amazon. It is called The Sociopath Next Door, and it's got almost 3,000 reviews at 5 stars. And Gina says, I had the most loving and caring parents. We were treated amazingly. She said it wasn't caused by the way we were raised. Another movie I can think of too, Gina, if you can find it, because I think it's on Amazon. It's called The Bad Seed. Have you heard of it? This is another. It was originally, it's a play. It was a play on Broadway, and then and then it became a movie. It's in the 1950s. Gina, if you can find it. It's a black and white movie, but it's called The Bad Seed. And what it deals with is the concept of nature versus nurture. Is something like this pre-programmed in somebody from birth, or is it something that you're raised to be that way? So yeah, that's a really, really good question. Thank you so much. She put it in there right now. This is available on Amazon. It's got 5 stars and almost 4,000 rate reviews. It's called The Bad Seed. It's a movie from 1956, which you can rent right here on Amazon Prime. So you guys, also, I encourage you to check that out as well. It's so interesting.
I have something that I read. It's called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk.
The Body Keeps the Score. Now, what is this about?
It's called Brain, Mind, and Body, that trauma that's held in. And it talks about the differences between, of course, narcissists, but other mental disorders that you don't know that arise. And it really teaches you how to know between the two, but it also goes back into psychology. And when you start the different things on psychopaths or, narcissistic, I think that book, when I read it, I was really opened up to a lot why narcissistic and empaths come together.
So why would you? Oh, and then Gina, thank you so much. She put the body keeps the score, brain, mind, and body in the healing. This is a terrific book of 5 stars and over 30,000 reviews. Gina says, I have no idea what kind of trauma she would have had. I tried to look back and remember things, but there's nothing that I can think of. That's so interesting. So Gina, answer the question for us. If she tries to contact you, then what do you do? Because it seems like that could be potentially a very, awkward situation, to say the least. What would you do? And then Anna, how, for people that are empaths or empathic or definitely in tune to other people, how would you suggest that they are able to spot a situation that is not ideal for them?
Well, me being present with myself and me actually getting grounded and meditating and doing all the work on me, I just focus on my self-healing and I focus on me, and that will in turn bring what I want out, because the inner work is really what you need to do. And then your outer world will change.
Will fall into place.
Exactly. But, just those people that are really, really overbearing, not like they want to cling or they want to be too needy or, so I think a lot of people don't really recognize things at the beginning.
Right.
It has to be just a little bit in. You'll notice it because they're really clever.
Well, that's what I was about to say, that the sociopath, I think, sucks people in. Let's talk about that, but I've got so much chat here for you. Gina says, I have no idea. Oh, you said that, what type of trauma she has. Oh, Nimjin says hello to you. So Anna says hello, and Gina says the last time she contacted me was 2 years ago on my birthday, and I just answered it, and it was awkward, exclamation point, and I didn't even want to talk to her. I can understand the awkward factor. Nimjin says, wow, and then Gina says it was through a FaceTime call, and I put my son on the phone because I couldn't even stomach to look at her, and she acted as nothing happened. That's a good point right there, Gina. She acted as though nothing happened. And you were saying, I think people that have these characteristics in some way do understand that they do, because they have a tendency to suck you in at first, because before you get emotionally attached to them, they know that you could go. So what they do is they appear to be one thing and are very charming, charismatic, clever. And then Gina said, it is a game. And so do you think that your sister is still portraying that way of acting as though nothing happened? And Gina's saying, I'm done playing the game, which is good. Gina, what do your mom and dad think of this, and are they aware of it? And then Anna, do you also feel like they portray themselves differently than they are in real life?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's like we're the ones with the issues or something. And the more clarity I get in my life and the more self-work I do. Oh, hold on. You there?
Yeah, there you are.
Sorry. The more self-work I do and the clarity that I have with me and what value I play, I'm able to be stronger. I've gotten to the point where as long as I forgive them, and I don't have any resentment in my heart.
Oh, wow.
And maybe one day we will start talking or, whatever. But until I'm ready, I'm not going to make it a point and be, like you said, or she said, in the game. I'm not going to be in the game anymore.
Then that's
that's right. It's not a game when you are dealing with emotions and the up and down and the never knowing what's going to happen. Everything's great when you're in front of them. But then once you leave, it's like, where is this coming from? Like everything is on a different level. And it's really hard when you're dealing with someone like that with your emotions and you trying to be aligned.
Well, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And you're right. Gina said, I'm done playing the game. Nimjin said, I just jumped into this conversation, but I totally hate when that happens. And then Gina said, my parents passed away and all of this transpired after my dad. Oh, we're so sorry. Didn't know this. And then Gina said, oh, Gina, I'm so sorry. And then Gina said, our dad passed in 2017. And she said, I feel like she regrets and takes it out on me because she treated my parents poorly as well. And now she's doing it to me, and I am not enabling her behavior.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Let's talk about, Anna, what do you think about people who enable this behavior? Because I think it can be an easy thing to actually honestly get sucked into it. You know, it's easy to get sucked into it. Then how do you break the cycle?
Yeah, she did what she needed to do. And you do it like that. You just remove yourself.
Right.
Remove yourself. Then when you're healed or whatever you're going through, you don't have to do anything. It's totally you. You can do whatever you
Let's talk about that. And Gina says, but they try to protect and say, it's you, not them.
Well, you know what? At this point, you just don't even engage. Don't engage.
And she said, no, the no project.
Yeah, it's no.
Let's talk about you guys, and Gina, whoever's in the chat, and Anna, tell us, because I need to hear this every single day, the importance and the acceptance of saying no. Please elaborate on that.
It was so hard to start that because then you feel bad. And then if you aren't doing what people need you to do, because you've always been doing it, now something's wrong with you. Okay. So you really have to be strong and set boundaries. You have to. And if you want to say no, do it.
How? I know you just say that. It makes it sound so easy.
Not.
Oh, I know. Gina says, no, she projects. Oh, she projects it onto you.
Yes.
They project it and make it about you to feel guilty. Is that what you're saying, Gina? No is not easy. No is not an easy word, but I see all these on Instagram. Do you guys do this? You see all these great memes that say there's nothing wrong with saying no. How do you do that when you know that somebody needs something and you're an empathic person, but yet you know that if you do talk about, you know, you have X amount of energy and that you can drain yourself. So explain that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I went through for years, and it was so hard to break. Yeah, it's easy to just say no whenever you're looking at it on a meme or a quote. But when you go back in, it was a knockdown, drag out. And I had to keep and stand my bounds. Sometimes people yell at you. Sometimes people say you're changing, what's wrong? But you know what? Really, they're mad because you're standing up and grounding yourself and actually taking back your power.
Wow.
And it's hard to do it.
Wow. And Gina says, but they try to project and say it's you, not them. She has no boundaries, so I had to cut off completely. Oh, and like you said, it's hard because Gina said, I cried for a long time, especially, when my son asks to see my nieces and we can't. So it goes beyond the individual person. Sometimes it includes and incorporates other family members or other friends because you can't see other people because of this one person. Does the other person, Gina, does your sister understand how she's broken those relationships, or does not even understand that? She goes, yes, my son is very affected by it. Does she have an understanding of the brevity of what she has done? Oh, Gina says no, she doesn't care. Do you find that as well, Anna? Is that they are kind of unable to understand or synthesize what's gone on?
Oh yeah, and you know, there's so many different types, but yes, it's always you're the problem, and they project. And it's been a knockdown, drag out trying to set your boundaries. But if you don't, And if you're not able to talk about it, or you don't want to go to them and talk about it, because if you do, it's going to be like you can't seek counseling because they're not the problem and you're the problem, or they don't even want to even get it put in that, position. But everything she's saying is correct.
Because
hard.
they can't see it. Gina said, no, she doesn't care. My family has alienated herself she has alienated herself from my entire family. Everyone has distanced themselves from her abuse. She says hurtful things to everyone. She thinks it's everyone else and not her. That is exactly what Anna is saying. The word that stuck out for me just now in reading this from Gina is the word abuse. And can you explain, Anna, because it took me a really, really long time to understand this. Abuse is not just necessarily somebody hitting somebody. Can you explain what you think? Yes, and Gina puts in the big words now. She is abusive with big words, abuse. Can both y'all explain? Gina, explain what your definition of how your sister was abusive, and how can you explain, Anna, to people, abuse is not necessarily somebody just hitting somebody. And it took me a while to figure this out.
Right. I mean, words play a big part, and it's those little baby nudges or those little baby remarks, but then they grow into bigger ones. So maybe, like I said earlier, are you going to wear that? And then the next thing, it's, you really do need to lose some weight. Or it's little baby steps, and then they grow into bigger.
So are they trying to get your tolerance up by little tiny niggling things to bigger and bigger and bigger?
Yeah, it is. I mean, and it's not intended, we don't know about it until we're sucked in and realize, maybe I am fat. And it's that little bitty nagging things, and then you start questioning yourself, then that starts playing a part. So there's different, then they'll be nice, then they'll start again, and it's all like a game,
and it's planned, and she says, Gina said, between the words, the gaslighting, the constant bullying, and the mental mind games, they prey on you to make you feel so small, so that you feel that what a good point, that you need them. So Gina, are you saying that this is really a ploy for power? And Anna, do you think that what they're doing is whittling away slowly at people's self-esteem so then they can gain power over you?
Oh yeah, it's a control. It's having someone there so they're able to, like you said, feed off of them or fill their sense of lack that they are not able to have within themselves.
So do you feel like that they are also dealing with self-esteem issues?
I think that what I've gone through is more of an ego, and I don't need you, or I'm everything without you, or I am I'm the cat's meow. Ego.
So then they suck it out of you.
Yeah.
Because Gina was saying too, she goes, yes, and then she put in big caps all the way across, it's all about power. They need you to be their doormat. And then she put what you said in big, 100% ego.
Yeah.
There is a movie, and I just thought of it. It's called Gaslight with Charles Boyer. Has anybody seen it? No. Gina, can you find it? I think it's probably on Amazon Prime, and put it in the queue. That will be another one. It's about a man that gaslights the fiance with little tiny things. And then, like you just said, Anna and Gina, let me know if you guys feel this or anybody else in the queue, that they make you feel like you are the one that is going crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Because
but in the beginning, everything's great.
Well, when you were 15, let's just go back to that. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. When you were 15 years old, How was he? Oh, and Gina goes, yes, exactly. Was your sister always this way, though, even since childhood, right? Because when you first met your ex-husband, how did he treat you? Because you were so young.
Well, back when we would break up or we would be together, we break up or be together, the typical relationship. But I noticed when we were got older, I noticed the red flags now. Noticed them. Like I noticed them. And then we got married and I noticed them then too, but I didn't know what a red flag was. I just thought, because my parents have been together for 56 years and his parents. You want to be the one where you go through the battle no matter what, and you want to endure. So you don't even pay attention.
That's a good point, because I think people that achieve and people that don't give up, once again, that's your best asset. Sometimes that's your worst detriment, because you don't want to give up. And you don't want to give up when you're like, I can make this work. I can make this work. Yes. And Gina goes, yes, exactly. And then Gina put in Gaslight. It was a movie in 1944. Thank you so much. It's got almost 3,000 reviews at 5 stars. So you guys look at Gaslight. It's a movie available on Amazon Prime, 1944. And then Gina says, my mom used to say it best. When she's good, she's good. And when she's bad, when she's a blank, she's a blank. When she's bad, she's very, very bad.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good way, Gina, to put it. And actually, in that movie, The Bad Seed, that's actually in The Bad Seed. So you guys check out that other movie. It's also from the 1950s. There's so many great stuff you can find on Amazon that we're talking about right now, because they've written books about it. So then, Anna, I want to ask you a question. One, because I always, everybody think, oh, you're such a nice person. You're such a nice person. When is too nice not good?
Totally giving without them giving anything in return. Having that, you are the one that's always with the compliments. You're the one that's always buying everything. You're the one that's always doing everything, and they're just sitting back and enjoying it. That's too much.
And then when you got, you were saying, you met your ex-husband at 15, you got married at 18. What made you decide to get married? Because he asked you and you thought this was the next rite of passage that you were supposed to do? Because at 18, how can you know,
Yeah, I know, because we've been together for so long. And then we were 18, and then, we didn't know, it was like a mutual thing. Like, we moved in together, but then we didn't want to we couldn't, at the time, because we were Catholic, you can't live together without sinning.
Oh, yeah.
You want to get married? Yeah. So I was like, so we got married, and we didn't have a traditional. My mom and dad said, either you're going to have a wedding, with everybody around, or you can go do something else. So I looked up a thing called Weddings on the Move. And I got married in Cancun.
Oh, so you got to go someplace, like a vacation, and then you get married.
Yeah. And so, but it was just like all fun. But then you have the bad times. And so it was like, okay, I don't want to sit around. I moved straight to Houston when I turned 18, and we started our life. And that's just, we're going to do this. But then I started looking at, well, I don't want anybody to think we're failing, because everybody thought we wouldn't last. So I can't let anybody think that we're not going to last. So you endure it till the end, no matter what abuse, no matter what you're going through. Or you say, oh, that's just their trait. We'll get through it. But then you realize years later that you're like, oh my God, I mean, you just give, and give. Yeah, they give too, but then is it ever good enough?
Yeah. And also, it's like, and that's a question I want to ask you too, can a narcissist, do you think, ever change?
I haven't seen it. I've been waiting, and every week we would start over and we would try to do it again, and you know what I'm saying? But once you've had enough and you've been beaten down and you don't have any more strength, it's kind of like, I can't do it anymore. But then they think that they're beaten down. And it's just
because they're thinking that it's them. I know. And Gina said, I can't believe my mom always knew there was something wrong with her and made excuses for her, so she enabled it. And I think that was the issue. And this is what Gina's saying. She enabled her instead of helping her to get help. And then Gina, what you just said about your ex-husband, she goes, yes, that's my sister too, exclamation point. And then Gina says in big, bold letters, nope, they can't. So then if they can't, and you were married you met him at 15, married at 18, when did you start going on this journey? This is so interesting, you guys. When did you start going on this journey of independence? Because starting at 15, I don't know if I could have done it.
Right. And, once my brother committed suicide and I realized, I've now a top in the company of what I'm doing currently. You know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. So I quit. And I started my insurance firm, building it from the ground up. So I turned my tragedy into my production, and I'm going to prove that I can do it. And I'm going to start building this firm. And I've been doing it for 9 years now. I got the best in 2019, 2020, and 2021. But now that I've also been building my platforms online, because in their eyes, anything online and anything out in public is just a no-no. That's what I dealt with. Yeah. So, but then now it's like, okay, I'm going to shut that door of my insurance firm because that was the people-pleasing part of me, because I dealt with people in companies, totally taking care of them. So I was still trying to do that part and build my other part. So it was just a daily grind and building myself up, doing it no matter what. Because even after I started my business and he was okay with it, he came in and said, you know what, 6 months, you go from making 6 figures to 0. And then you're trying to build a business. And he always wanted me to do that. And I'm doing it now. But then 6 months comes through and says, this isn't just working. This is not where you're going to have to go get a job. But that didn't happen. I wasn't going to get a job.
Wow. So he was niggling at you even then. How did you deal? Did friends and family at the time, because you went from 6 figures, did they think that you had gone bonkers?
Oh, well, they thought that I had gone bonkers, but they didn't know what I was going through at home. They thought everything was perfect.
Right.
So I had to take it internally. I'd cry in the shower. I wouldn't show my feelings, because if I did, I would get bashed, or I couldn't have Hannah see me cry.
Wow.
Because you're weak. Suck it up. You're weak. So he's trying to build me into narcissistic no feeling.
True. That's true. What about, because like you talk about your blog and everything, I noticed that you're so 100% transparent. And so you are 100% transparent with everything that you are feeling and all your emotions in your blog and everything. How have other women responded to this transparency? Because I think that's the only way that people are really going to connect with you, is that they have to see the vulnerability, and they have to see the stuff and the malarkey that we've all gone through and we all have to go through. It's the only way you can identify with somebody. What are some of the responses that women have said to you?
Well, I told myself that I was going to be real authentic no matter what. I'm not bashing anybody, but I will give my truth that I know. And I'm not going to bring up anything that has happened in my life, except for I will do quotes and I will do interviews if needed. But on my blog, I will focus on them and let them shine, because I want everybody to know it's okay. And you can start wherever you're at, and you can do it no matter what you're going through. And everybody loves that. The transparency, the rawness, the realness. Even behind the scenes, I'm going through stuff, still building. But once I got divorced, it was like an energy shift lifted, and I wanted to feel visible. And that even made it even more amazing, because now I can show up and not have to worry, because Anna's graduated now, and I'm able to, continue to teach and treat my businesses and my projects and mission in even more manner, because in the back end, I've been getting bashed about me being real, you know.
So now I'm just curious, who has been bad? Because I think that the more you're known and the more you get out there, the more you get bashed, because there's so many people out there that is very unfortunate that they want to subterfuge and they want to put you down. So how do you shift that energy, even on social media, when you get this negativity? How do you shift it to keep your inertia going forward, because you know that you're doing the right thing?
Well, you know, fortunately, I've never had any negativity on social media. It's all been amazing.
Oh, awesome.
It from him. That's it.
And do you feel like because you've kind of kicked the hornet's nest, you know you're doing something good? Because otherwise, I don't think that he would be doing that.
Oh yeah, and now everybody starts at zero. And so when I first started, you start and you just keep growing. Now on all my platforms, I'm in the millions.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, and I have every platform. And that's why I made 4 Instagram pages, because I didn't know at the time what direction I wanted to do. And I have my personal, my empowerment, and then I have my manifesting junkie. And that manifesting junkie is where I can go and say whatever I want, whenever I want, and can cuss and do whatever. But it's really that unfiltered rawness that people want. They want that, but they can't do it. And I hear that all the time.
Well, I think that a lot of people are afraid of being 100% transparent. It's not easy. And Gina said, once I got, and she goes and puts in quotes, divorced from her, it was a weight, like you said, lifted, and I could live again. And Gina says to you, she goes, he will always criticize you. Nothing will ever be good enough for him that you do, because he didn't think of it first. Do you think that he would take the credit if you're a success? I wonder if in his mind, in some weird way, he would take credit for what you've done that's successful.
Yeah, because whenever I started my insurance firm, he did my website.
So then he probably thinks that he was in part responsible for that. And Gina, did that happen to you too? Like your sister would take the credit for things that you did growing up when you were a kid? She said narcissists only believe that what they do is the best. So did that happen to you, Gina? I'm just curious. Tell us about these different platforms. And each one is succinct and each one is different. So why do you have 4? Tell how each one is different.
Okay, perfect. So I started because I'm a creator. And I had a personal page and I wanted to keep it separate. And then I started my women empowerment quotes and blog and community. And then I had the manifesting, because I love the woo-woo, the yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, and just being able to be transparent. And then I have my dog.
Oh, so you have one for your dog too.
I know.
That's so funny. Although Gina says, my sister wouldn't take credit, but she always criticized and would never ever tell me it was a good job, even if she thought it was. That's a part of, Anna, what you're saying. Did that happen to you too? That's a part of the power and the control.
Yeah, and that was she's hit the nail on the head, as they would say here.
Right. So you have to. It's all about them having to have control over everything that you're doing. So now, y'all go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, because if they thought of it, it's a great idea. But then if you thought of it and wanted to try to pursue, then why are you going to do that? That's dumb.
Wow. But I think that we've all heard this because we've all run into people like this. And then Gina puts in big caps, all about them always. So are you saying that, and Gina and Anna too, did they ever ask you about your life? Did your ex-husband be genuinely interested in what you were doing or what your daughter was doing? Or was it really everything kind of revolved around him and everybody, like he was the sun and everybody were planets revolving?
Well, yeah, of course he would ask, but it was really to pick and get info.
Information to what?
Use later. Be engaged, concerned, and caring. But then say something happened that you did wrong and you didn't know you did wrong, then he'd bring it up.
So it's almost as ammunition.
Yes.
Later on. Wow. And Gina said never, it always revolved around them. And then Gina said to what you said is yes, yes, ammo. So it's ammunition to be used against you. It's not genuine concern for the other person.
Yep, that's right.
And so I'm just amazed that being 18, this is another reason, and let me know if you guys believe this in the chat. I think a lot of times men like younger women, one, because they're younger and they're attractive, and two, because they just don't know. They haven't had enough experience in their life to understand. It takes experience of life to be able to understand what's going on. And you felt like it took you how long, Anna, before you came to the awareness of what was going on?
It was 2011, and then we didn't separate until 2016.
Wow.
And then separated from 2016 to 2020, and our divorce finalized on 3/2020.
Wow. And so how long have you been having your blog and then having your social media? How long have you been working on that?
Well, I started in 2015 doing the summits and interviewing ladies. And then I started in 2016 and 17, I started my different pages and my blog.
What made you, I think it's so neat that you reached out to other ladies. What made you, one, decide to reach out to other women? And then two, what are some of the compelling stories that you can tell us that you've gleaned from these experiences and these interviews?
I aspired to be like them because they inspired me. So I just wanted to start learning more about them. I mean, I wanted to share because they were just so, amazing. And they had the journey. I found that most of them either had went through it either sometime in their life or they were going through it at that time. And whatever their story was. But I wanted to know about all the stories so I could be inspired. And that's really, it started with me learning, and then I wanted to share.
Wow. Wow. You said something earlier too that I thought was really interesting, is that you said that you were talking about taking that first step, that first step out. Like for you, it was the first step out of this relationship. How would you encourage ladies that feel stuck? Because I think that there's a lot of you guys out there, all of us, and in some ways, all of us have been stuck in our lives at certain points, whether it be in a relationship or financially with a job or anything. And even Gina was saying, like with her sister, she didn't know what to do, and that's a very complicated, convoluted situation that is many, many layers deep. So what would you suggest for somebody if they're just stuck or feeling stuck? What is the very first step that you would recommend?
Well, I would stop engaging and literally try to wean yourself off as little as you can. So you're not either, if you can't, you just have to make boundaries literally, or don't, because there's some people in your life you can't really get away from. You really have to get grounded in you, because once you're confident and you take your power back by not being available or making sure that you are doing what you need to do in your life, then they're not going to feel like they can come and take over.
Wow.
So work on the self.
So, and speaking of the self, say you're a mom, you are overwhelmed with your responsibilities as mom, you have children, you have a career, you just basically feel overwhelmed. And for gentlemen out there too, you're talking about the self and how important it was for you. That's one of the first steps that you did, was you started looking online. What would you suggest to be able for somebody, just for the first bite of positive food? How would you start to fortify the self?
Well, I started doing meditation and yoga, and I started Kundalini yoga. That was what started the energy shifting. That was my first thing.
And Kundalini, is that the yoga where you're actually doing the phrases and making the sounds and the noises that are changing the vibrations in the air? Is that right? Can you explain that for people out there who may not know?
Yeah, it's more dealing with the energy shifts, and there's mantras and mudras, and they you can be doing breath work or you can do different poses or whatever, but there's a yoga practice that you can do, maybe 7 minutes or 3 minutes or 11 minutes, and it's specifically on what you want to shift. And you would be amazed at the shifts that really do happen, that go into play with it. But once someone reads about, because there's so many different practices, it's not just Kundalini, there's so many. I saw, I have one of my dear friends does yoga nidra, and her name is Jana Romer, and she's amazing. She's in your area, and it's called yoga nidra. And it really, that's one of those meditations where you go and sleep. It's a sleep meditation. And so it really helped me shift my internal world to make my outer world more able to, adapt and adjust. So I was incorporating the meditation, the yoga, and the movement.
Well, when you were talking about your inner world making that shift, and then that was the thing that enabled your outer world to shift. Is that how you were able to go from, like you said, the insurance world and six figures to be able to create this whole other thing that maybe 5 years ago, 10 years before that, you would have never even seen yourself doing?
Yes, that was because I would get clarity. I would be more present. I would get grounded. I wasn't getting overwhelmed, because before I was just produce no matter what I'm doing. And so overwhelmed, I wasn't even taking time out to see exactly, is this what I want? I was just taking on anything. So I was not having boundaries, but yet with me meditating and doing the yoga and getting present with and aligned in what I needed, it helped shift what I needed to have on my outer world. And it's hard to explain until you're doing it. It's a journey.
So it helps shift your desires even as far as your career is concerned. So for those of people that are out there watching right now and they're thinking about, what is my true passion? What is my true focus? What am I supposed to be doing? But I'm stuck in this job that I can't leave because of finances or whatever. How do they make this transition? Because I understand that. I think we all understand that, because there's always the daily grind that may not be what you want to do, but yet how do you shift into, not only shift, but how do you find that other thing, whatever it may be?
Start. Started. And that's why I have so many pages, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what my focus was, because I have so many passions. I have so much that I wanted to do. And I started interviewing people, doing the summits, dabbling a little here. I just was trying everything and seeing what stuck.
And so it's more about you can define your passion by just moving forward.
Yep, and starting, and I remember in the beginning I was such a perfectionist. I had to have the website, I had to have this and that and the other, and then I would never do anything. So I would just start, not knowing anything.
Well, then how do you suggest people, that's just a great thing, it's just do it. Even the Nike campaign was like literally just do it. How do you encourage people, because I feel constantly on the hamster wheel too, just because we live in Los Angeles. How do people start to slow down?
Exercising and really asking yourself questions. Is this really serving me? Or is it just filling a time? Or because a lot of people are just so used to being, on the go. Because it was so hard for me. Just really, is it serving me, or am I just wasting energy?
Did you feel like at the time when you were on the go that you were just almost gliding through life without really appreciating moments of life, and that you would look back and realize, oh my gosh, I'm 65. What happened to it all? It's gone in the blink of an eye.
Oh yeah. And that's what I said. I do not want to be 65 and be living in regret, or not even I know that I have a purpose, and I know inside, I knew I had a message. But when you're in that state, I just kept listening, reading, researching. I was just, it was, there's so much knowledge and wealth of knowledge out there now. There's always something. So what would light me up? I would just be researching and reading. And, once I started slowing down, and I really started getting more clear because I was having time to.
Yeah, because you slowed everything down. You were talking about researching, reading, and you guys, Anna gave me an awesome list earlier. I was able to put it in the queue. We really want to talk about why she thinks that these really spoke to her. These are important items. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the first one? I'm going to show it to everybody, and then you can explain what this is. So you guys, what you're looking at now, this is recommended by Anna. Lou-hoo, ? 2 countries, 2 names, many men. A memoir of self-discovery. Now you can find this in paperback. This is available on Amazon right now. It is under the self-help book section under self-esteem. Now it's got 5 stars with many ratings. So I have never seen this before. Tell us, what is this book about and why is it so important to you?
Well, we met on social media, and she was going through the same thing. And she wrote a book about her divorce and how she went through all kinds of different things. And it really spoke to me. And so she sent me that book. And then I interviewed her for my blog. And, there's so many people out there that have stories and they're going through something that they don't make a change. And people need to know that there are other alternatives. Even if you can't make the change right away or you're never going to, you still really need to research and read other people's stories because they're really inspiring. And it was just a great book for me.
Oh, well, what does she talk about in the book?
Well, it's about her divorce and how she makes the final steps and does the different steps while going through that. And
Wow.
It's her own journey.
It's her own personal journey.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think what's interesting too is that everybody has a journey that's unique, but yet other people can read your journey and learn so much from it and glean something from the journey, even though it's not their own.
Right. And that is it right there in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. And even just listening, what you were talking about and just everything that you had gone through, and also the way that you were able to slow down your life is valuable to me. And let you guys out there, let me know if it's important to you, because a lot of times we get on that hamster wheel and we don't even realize, because perspective is kind of where you are. A lot of times you don't realize that you're going so fast at a supersonic whistle speed until you slow it down.
Right. And that's
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even understand that you were going that fast in the first place. Here's another one I want to show you guys that Anna recommended. This is available on Amazon. This is Eat with Intention, Recipes and Meditations. Oh, for a life that lights you up. How fun. This is hardcover and it's got 5 stars. So explain, this is so neat that we're talking about diet too, because I think that's really, really important on overall how you feel. Explain why this is an important book to you.
Well, she goes into the Kundalini yoga, and she was someone that I had found and then asked her to enter. I interviewed her for my meditation and mindfulness project, as well as for my blog. But I had that book with me. And so I was just so impressed with the different shifts that you can make and the different meditation. It's just so amazing how she puts it. And it really helped guide me. And I had it in my hand at all times to go to.
Uh-huh.
It was a go-to for me.
Well, what I find interesting too about this, somebody had just recently, I saw this on TV and I thought it was so interesting when they were talking about eating, though a lot of times we feel like we need to fill empty voids with food because we get satisfaction and a momentary, it's temporal, but we get that feeling of like comfort food, food that makes you feel better. And this woman that was talking on the, because I love sweets, who doesn't? And this woman who was talking said, food can't love you back. food, you can love the food, but food itself will not love you back. And it's a neat way of thinking about it, because it's like you're filling yourself up with something that is not able to love you.
That's right. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has their own story when they're with their food. And I went through that too after I had Hannah. Can you believe I gained 100 and something pounds?
What?
And I was like 285 pounds, broke 2 chairs in restaurants. I thought they were going to put it on the bill.
Wow. Oh, no. So was it that, did you have postpartum or something and that you felt the need to?
Yes. And I gained so much weight with her, but then it took me years to gain that back, gain my self-esteem back.
And so you were just filling everything up with the comfort food.
Yeah. And so over the years, I want to say, like when she was younger, I started taking away carbs, and then I would take away fried food, and then I would take away sweets. So each year I've been, taking something away, and then I would incorporate workouts, or I never did anything all at one time. But now I eat more like on a keto diet, kind of like a keto, but I am very conscious about what I put in my body, because I had been through that emotion of not just having a baby, also my body changing, going through the toxic, going through a toxic relationship, but not knowing it's toxic at the time. And then gained 100 and something pounds after the baby.
And what made you, because it would just be so hard to lose 100 pounds. And so like you were saying, you slowly took out pieces, but then you put in positive reinforcement for everything, like for every carb you decided to take out, you would do something positive for yourself. So it's a swap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you were able to slowly, because you can't lose that amount overnight. Obviously, it was unhealthy. So you were able to do it in a natural, slow progression, slow way.
Right.
You should seriously write a book about that as well. I'm not joking. You've got to write a book about that, because I know so many people, and especially once again, because we're kind of from the same area. You said you moved to Houston when you got married. Where were you before then?
Bay City, Texas.
Sure, I know it. Down south by Corpus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right there.
So we come from kind of the same area where there's a certain type of food, and there's Southern food, which I love. It's my favorite thing. But talk about, you have to eat a healthy lifestyle as well, too. And a lot of times that's difficult in the area that we're from, because it's considered normal,
And they didn't have Whole Foods or anything.
No, because everything is fried, and that's considered normal. That's just the way it is. Yeah. So yeah, no, I understand how difficult that could be too socially.
But this the funny part. I just did it. I'm doing all of this when it's not normal. I'm doing gluten-free when there's not gluten-free around.
No, I know from where we're at. So what brings up a really good question, because your friends and people that have known you during this transition, from the time that you were married and your family and everybody, to the way you are now as a much more of a, I think you've always been an independent thinker and always been a free thinker, just we're not aware of it. So what must they think now of you?
It's like not real. I'm totally different. They always know, because they know what I've been like forever, and they know about my businesses and building all this stuff. But then now I'm a creator, and, it's just like, it doesn't seem like it's anything. It's just like, it doesn't even seem real.
Well, to them, because you were saying at first they thought like maybe you joined a cult or something like that. Are they thinking, Anna must be having like a midlife crisis or something? Because do they think that a big shift, because people can't understand it, that they must think that somebody's having like a midlife crisis?
Well, with my personal family, mom and dad and all them, they don't think that, because they're used to me doing crazy stuff, and that's just me. But as far as my ex, I was in a cult and worshiping the devil.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. That is crazy. A good crazy. It's a good crazy.
And all I'm doing is changing me, and for what I really am truly, it's nothing. It's nothing. I'm just being a better me.
I think you're just manifesting who was on the inside was never able to be seen. And now it's almost like a butterfly in metamorphosis, and you're making a transition, and you're able to just kind of, this is who you are on the inside. But for a long time, that person was suppressed by other energies, other forces, other people, other situations. And now you're coming more into your true self.
Right.
And that's what I find so awesome. You know, that's what I find so terrific. Let's look at another one that you recommend. I love this. I've never tried it, but it just looks amazing. So you guys, what we're going to be looking at here now, Jo Malone, which I love, Jo Malone Red Roses Bath Oil. Once again, high ratings, and Jo Malone is known for beautiful scents. Now, is this talking about like self-care?
Yeah. Jo Malone has everything amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the products, not just the bath oil, but the actual oil that helped me, because the scents are just so beautiful with dry skin and everything. I mean, it's just absolutely a must in your bathroom.
What do you guys think of that? Because I always believe, and I'm very much a scent-oriented person. People know me. I'm a very scent-oriented person. And I know that scents have the ability to lift the emotions and lift the spirits instantaneously. Yeah. And I think that color and scent can actually shift your mood. Is this something that people can use? Remember, we were talking about to break that energy and to shift it in a different direction?
Yeah, yes, I totally believe it. And that's why I use it. I've been using it for years. So
if you have like maybe a not so great day or whatever, you can say, you know what, I'm done with this.
Oh, yeah.
Make a bath.
My mom and Hannah too. They love them.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, you guys, this is another way, just to, like I said, we were talking about shifting the energy. And how do you shift the energy in a not so great day? And you can do simple, easy things. Here's another one that I want to show you guys. This looks great too, because I love Molten Brown too. This is Molten Brown Recharge. Now I don't know what is this? Black pepper bath and shower gel, 5 stars and almost 500 ratings. What does black pepper smell like?
Oh my God, they have a pink and a black. And so this weekend, I switched from Jo Malone and Molten Brown. Like, that's my go-to. And I got that one out this weekend, and me and Hannah were using it the whole week while we were traveling. And I'm like, oh my God, it just, I have never had those scents that just uplift you.
Mm-hmm.
And then she walked by me, she's like, what are you wearing? Let me have some of this. So then she's using it. It's like one of those things like, what are you doing? It smells so good.
Uh-huh.
But it was just one of those scents. Every one of their scents are good because I use every one of them. But that one was what spoke to me this coming up week.
How is the black pepper different than the pink pepper?
Oh, the pink one is sweet, but oh my God, they smell so good. I can't even explain it. I'm gonna have to send you one.
Oh, you guys just have to get one out there. You guys just have to try one and just, take it on Anna's advice.
Oh, I mean, I've been using it forever. And it's to the point to where every Christmas I would buy the Molten Brown. They have the 12 or the 10 or the 4-pack samples. There's not one out there that I send them to all my clients or my friends. I make the Molten Brown the focus on birthdays. And I'm just a fanatic.
Oh my gosh, you guys have got to try it. You definitely have to try it. Here's another one. Now, I just love this because everybody here at Sway TV knows this person. And I just thought it was like 6 degrees of separation and just the weirdest coincidence. You guys, what we're looking at now is the golden secrets of optimal health, revealing a holistic, unconventional guide to feeling and looking your best for you, your family, and the environment. Now, this is available on paperback right here on Amazon under alternative medicine in books on Amazon. This is by Jessie Golden, who we love here. So first off, tell us, how do you know her? What is the connection?
Well, whenever I was doing my meditation and mindfulness project, I was so blown away by her story and her rheumatoid arthritis and how she so amazing. She's like a light. She's golden. She's golden.
She is.
You know? And I reached out to her and asked her if I could interview her in 2016 for my project. And she said, yes. So we connected. And then I asked her for my blog, if we could incorporate. And then she came out with the book. And so I was a part of that. And I'm an affiliate for her products. And she just literally is a radiating light to me. I just love her.
And you guys are from the same state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we're just love her. I love her.
Well, what does she talk about in this book?
Well, she talks about self-healing and her journey with rheumatoid arthritis and how she does the different modalities from the yoga to the prayers to mantras and different things that she's incorporated in her life that helped her. And that's what I started doing too.
Wow. And well, let's talk about also, because I know her products and I've had some of her products. Tell us about her other products, her oils, and how you've tried them, how you think that they have also changed your life.
Well, with me, they got rid of the dark spots that I have had, like the oils and different things for the face.
Really?
Dark spots that I get out in the sun. I used to have them all right here.
Oh, the melasma.
Yes. And it's gone. Like I don't have it anymore, but just maybe a spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That Gina put in, thank you so much, Gina. She just put the book, The Golden Secrets of Optimal Health, Healing, and Holistic right here in the chat for you guys. So it's in the queue. Thank you so much for putting that in there. So it got rid of that. And then also, did you find, because I found this, that the oils are so uplifting. Like when you just put them on like this, and then I inhale them, I feel like they just immediately perk you up.
Right. And these are things that she used for herself to help her with her, overcoming the different obstacles as well as her rheumatoid arthritis. And so as I was going through things, I just adopted them because I loved, and then she started her line. So then I would try the stuff and it just really helped me. And then I started letting my mom, I would buy the little packs of her stuff and send it to my mom. And then she started, with the wrinkles and the different ways of, and it's an alternative.
Well, and just for those of you who don't know, because you and I both know her story, tell us about her story. Like, I understand that she was almost debilitated completely by arthritis, right? Like, she couldn't move.
Yeah. Right. And so she started the different modalities and the different, I guess, I can't even think of the name, the vitamins and the different, things that you put on your body, alternatives holistically, not with, holistic ways. And it really started shifting her. It was rheumatoid arthritis. You have to read the book or go to her website and look at all the different things that she has available, because it's just amazing. I couldn't even tell you all in one little, sentence.
No, I know.
But I've been doing it for 4 or 5 years.
Oh, wow. Because I know, for those of you who don't know about Jessie Golden, just to let you know, she was in a professional ballet company. She was in Fort Worth Ballet. And she was struck by rheumatoid arthritis to the point where she was having a hard time even moving. And if you see her now and her ability with her flexibility, and she is more, it's just amazing. She is just the most beautiful spirit, the most beautiful everything about her. And she talks a lot about diet too, diet and exercise, and how she was able to, without the help of modern medicine, she was able to not only get back on her feet to be normal, she was able to succeed beyond that because of that. And so this is the book. I think it's really important. And I want to say, as a testament, I know her and you do too.
Oh, yeah.
And how she's just an incredible person.
Everybody has their own journey with her, and she is really an angel. Like, she is a lot. And that was one of the first products, the first people person that I reached out to to interview for my project, the meditation and mindfulness. And I was just so blown away at that little bit 30-minute interview. But then she came out with the book and then the products. And so I've been a part of all of that behind the scenes with her, as a fan, just loving everything she's doing behind the scenes. I love it.
You guys, that's just so amazing. We have another one that I want to show you, and all this stuff is like I want to get it now on Amazon because this looks great because I love oils. You're gonna die. I made my partner make all these shelves at home, and I have oils all up and down them so I can pick and pull and mix and match and everything because I'm so into them. You guys, what you're looking at, this is the Signature Blend Essential Oil. This is based on ancient folklore to entace love. This is by the Golden Secrets, which is hers. I actually have this one. Tell us all about it.
Oh, I just love it. Like you said, you put it on and you get uplifted. That's it. It's amazing.
You guys, I have this one too, and the scent name for this is Earthy, and that is probably the best way that I can describe it. Yeah. I really do encourage you because it does smell, it smells like of the earth. It smells like amber to me and patchouli. It's just so intoxicating. It really is, and if you want something... Yeah, and even when you're talking about just something during the day just to uplift you, like even if you're in the car and say you're in traffic in LA, like we're always in traffic here, it's so nice just to have that little thing that you can roll on. And what I like to do is just put it on and just inhale it, and it perks me up.
Exactly.
And
that's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, really, that's just it. And you just have to trust us on that. And we're not trying to sell anything. I'm just letting you know. Yeah.
Because Mom is she can't smell things, like certain things, because it screws her nose up or whatever. It doesn't even do that to her.
I know it's just this smooth, and you know what? What's interesting about it too is that it's not even seasonal. Like summer, spring, winter, fall. When I put it on, it smells like that season. When I put it on in the fall, it smells like fall. When I put it on in the winter, it smells like Christmas. I can't explain it.
I can't either, but I love it.
I love it. I do too. And this is another one, you guys, really want to show you this. And also, I've had this one too, and this is the one that you're talking about from Melasma. This is Youth Beauty Face Rejuvenate, Protect, and Radiate. This is also by the Golden Secrets. This is the oil, so explain this to us.
Like literally, I use it every day.
All over your face?
Yeah, and I even use it on my body. It's funny. I use every single one of her products. They're just so good.
And it doesn't feel greasy.
No, and I know that it's made with intention that to make you be better. You know what I'm saying? Like her whole mission and goal behind the brand was so amazing. And that's why I love her so much. But yet, after using it for 3+ years, it totally changed my skin.
Yep. And I feel like it makes you radiate. It gives you that glow. And
look at her.
Oh, I know. I mean, just completely like the sunshine. And I remember her saying, it was really interesting. I remember her saying that, she goes, well, I started making these oils for myself. And then I started just walking out. And every time I would go out, without fail, somebody would come up to me and say, what is that you're wearing? What is that smell? What is that? How can I get it? And she was like, oh, well, maybe I should start making this for everybody because the reaction, she said, was overwhelming.
Yeah, and the different products that now she has, it's like, I get all of them now because I really do love the brand, and that's why I became an affiliate. So, meaning if I have it on my website, her page, because I love her products so much.
Yeah, it's not like the products almost, I feel like they sell themselves because they are so good. Like you don't even have to think about it. So, and like you said, not that we're selling anything today because, I didn't even know that you knew her.
Here. Yeah.
I know. It's just a weird coincidence. I was like, oh, that's the funniest thing.
Her own story with her.
I know.
So funny.
She's just an amazing person. Now this one, I know nothing about, you guys. So, and you're going to have to help me on this one. You recommended for everybody out there right now, Evolution 20 by Christine Bullock. Now, what exactly is this? This is for fitness and nutrition?
Yeah, like literally, she was the first person that I ever said that she said yes to my blog.
Really?
My first one. So she sent me all of her stuff, like, to try.
Oh.
Back in the day. But then I started buying her stuff because I was trying to start exercising, and I was just starting my journey as far as I was just separated. I didn't know what to do or whatever. So I started doing different exercises, and that's one of the ones. Now she has a whole green line, and she has body care, and she is one of the #1 celebrity fitness and instructors in LA.
Oh, wow. So does she talk about just fitness, diet?
Yeah.
Does she talk about it any level?
Well, she's literally, she's a fitness trainer.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely gorgeous. But she's so fun, and she really has, like, that particular workout was the first one that I ever got, and it's amazing. She was one of the first to be on Beachbody years ago.
Oh, wow. So what you're saying too is if somebody just wants you, like you said, wants to take their first foot forward onto their own personal fitness journey, wherever they're at, this will be a good set to take.
Yeah, because I don't go to the gym. I don't have time to actually go to the gym. And even if every time I bought a membership, I never go back. I don't know why, because like I always am doing it at home. So I love the at home stuff. I have to spin, bike, the trampoline, all the different modalities that you could do here with equipment. But I love to do the DVDs.
See, I think it's good too, because online, and it's good at your own pace. And some of us have really random schedules, and it's hard to get to the gym. But if you can get 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, and you're not spending that time driving back and forth,
but
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that really, really helped me get good. I mean, like, more of a foundation. But there's so many. She has so many. Now she's on it.
But that's the first one you tried, so that's the one you would recommend to everybody. And they can also just Google her and find probably more DVDs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. And I also want to show you, everybody, this is Anna's page to Manifesting Junkie. So on it, you do have products you love, books, like the one that is highlighted right now is the Golden Secrets book by Jessie Golden. Also, your awesome stuff where you're talking about bath time, workout equipment that you recommend, workout books that you recommend, and then, magazines that you think are awesome, gifts that you like to wow everybody with, home decor, cult classics, and self-care rituals and holistic beauty, and that's what we were just talking about just now. So now, if everybody, now I know you have your platforms, so people I am sure are going to be following you. And how would people find out more about your blog for empowering women? And how would they find out about all your social media to follow up on you? And then also after that, I want to talk about how you're a life coach too. So go for it.
Yeah, well, it's AnnaDellaRosa.com. That's my blog. Now, I have 4 Instagram pages. You can Google Anna Della Rosa or Anna Sweatlet Della Rosa, which is my my maiden name.
Can you spell that for us?
It's S, V as in Victor, E-T, L-I-K. And so it's on my social media. So my personal on Instagram is at the Anna Della Rosa. And then I have my empowerment, which is at Empower Women Quotes. And then I have Manifesting Junkie, and then Chance.the Boxer.
So I know one is your doggy. The other 3, can you explain to everybody a little bit about what the difference is for new people who have just joined in?
Yeah, I have Manifesting Junkies, more like the woo-woo, uncut, unfiltered, just whatever. I say whatever on there. I also say stuff with purpose and intention. Some of the stuff that people are afraid to say, real life stuff. Then I have my empowerment, which is a blog and quotes and some of the people that I interview. but it's mainly a quotes, inspiration, uplifting. And then I have my personal page, which I incorporate some of my life. I incorporate some of the things that I'm, a brand ambassador. If someone wants me to help them, or also Hannah, and just some different things. Chance, all of them.
So now also, for those of you who haven't taken a look at her site yet, you're also a life coach, and you coach people. So explain about your coaching, how you can help people if they want to get a hold of you to do some personal coach time. And what do you offer?
Well, basically, I do one-on-one, and I have courses that I can recommend. But basically, they can go onto my website and book a 30-minute discovery call, or if they don't want to do that, they can message me on Instagram. Yes, I have all my platforms, but I focus on Instagram because if I get scattered, I won't be able to keep up. So if they message me, then I answer them on Instagram.
Okay, so for you ladies and gentlemen as well that are out there, Gary says good morning to you.
Hey, Gary.
So if you are interested in contacting Anna, that you will get a hold of people through Instagram. So it's the best place to get a hold of you.
Yeah. And then also, if they go online, there is a link. It says book a call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you guys can do that as well. So you guys, we've had such an amazing time with Anna De La Rosa. I want to say it's one of the best times that I've had. I'm not joking, and I never said that before. I've had such an amazing, awesome time. And I want to thank everybody who's been in the chat today. Thank you so much for all this engaging, awesome, really transparent chat that we've had today. And I want you guys to thank Anna so much for your time this morning. We'll be following you. You've got to come back. You've got to come back. So, and you guys, thank you, Anna, so much. Thank you.
No, it's been a pleasure and honor.
Oh,
Thank you.
Had such a wonderful time, and I've learned so much just in this